Everybody, this is CJ Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana, across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. Do come check us out. Some videos I posted uh, not too long ago, a few days ago, over the weekend, really, were over the Harmony of Music festival that was happening downtown. Today's the last day of it. I didn't worry about going. There was um, a car show that's being hosted by uh, G Unit Studios. Uh, I went through some of the block party after parties and things like that, but I didn't actually do any of the events. And the reason why it wasn't I wasn't too into that type of uh, yeah. I mean, it wasn't the entertainers that I particularly care to see. So, but I am super psyched about what's coming up. Uh, this Friday it starts, the GeekCon. I'm a super stupid geek over comic book stuff. Listen, I will go out and if I see something that sparks me, I will buy it just because I have like some change. I feel no guilt if I impulse buy a comic book or something, like that. I love media, I love art, everything, all of it. So yeah, I do have to, budget. Always on a budget for me. There are things I want to do for the house, so I'm really cool. I think I went out with one of my friends, and he had the suggestion that I could go with him uh, and see what he's talking about. So there are. Yeah, we're talking about making a table for the front room that's going to be a little bit more appropriate than the two tables that I have in there. So that's kind of cool. Uh, and it's like just opening my eyes to some design. Like I knew what I wanted, which was kind of a thinner long table. I want that thin long table, but it's got to be, that's got to be appropriate for the room. And because there are chairs lining the walls in my room here, like all the way around. The dining needs to be uh, surely needs to be on the thinner side, wide enough that like people can sit across from each other and have their plates and things like that and their place settings and everything and be comfortable. But I don't need a big giant table. I need more of a longer rectangular table rather than a big square table. So uh, needs to fit the space, but I want to be able to, at any given time, sit about 8 to 10 people at the table. And if we did it lengthwise, we'd be able to do that. That's a good number of people for me whenever I have people over. Uh, which is only every few months. I don't like, I love to entertain, but I've also learned that spacing it out, like entertain every couple of months instead of every couple of weeks, uh, the bigger groups of people, then what happens is, I can enjoy my company better because then it's a little bit more special. So I like the holidays, and then just a couple of times during the seasons between the holidays. Because if I get Thanksgiving and perhaps Christmas. And then uh, maybe a Fourth of July or something like that, and then maybe something in the fall, like four, no more than like 5 times a year, but really just about 4 times a year is all I would need to do like a larger gathering of people. As far as when it comes to like the big food and stuff like that, the people that I know, my friends and everything, they're always welcome to come over. That's kind of cool. So I'm sitting in this rocking chair that I got, and it's not a big, giant, huge rocking chair, but it's comfortable. It's just great for me, uh, and I love it. It's cool. I picked it up at the store called Roses. It's a home decor, but like kind of on the discounty side. And yeah, I like this chair as opposed to I was at a flea market and saw a chair almost identical. Maybe it had like a little bit of a gnarly craft on the inside of those chairs, but it's like you know they were trying to sell the rocking chairs for about $200 a piece, and I was like, oh hell no, certainly not for a used rocking chair or anything like that. And I don't care. And then uh, what else? What else did I see? Oh yeah, they had some interesting things with this particular vendor. It's like, I saw them shopping at a Goodwill, buying kitchen tables and things like that for like $45 and stuff like that. And so we got out to the flea market looking around, not just at there, but just all sorts of things. I really was looking for a knife, you know, uh, an assisted opening knife, and I found one that was good. But we stopped in and checked out this booth, and I mean they're nice people and everything like that. They seemed really great. Uh, but the same types of tables they were getting from Goodwill for anywhere from like 50 to $60. They had them the same tables, like they would buy the table and bring it, and it's like, oh, and you're gonna mark it up to like, you know, $300 to $400. Nope, 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 nope. So, yeah, be careful about your flea market vendors. You want to go someplace where you want to do your shopping. You want to know your shit. You know what I mean? If you just go to a flea market and just trust in anything, you're probably gonna get your ass handed to you, and you're end up gonna you're gonna end up paying them money way more uh, for that, you know, for that handing of the ass, so to speak. So yeah, but it's business, and so in business, be smart, especially when uh, trading and bartering, which is kind of what I do, like in my life. Like if I can barter down a price, I'll do that. And if it's not cool, and if I'm not fine with it, I'll do. But also, I get that from my grandmother. My grandmother on my mother's side, uh, Grandma Williams, Mildred. Her first name was Mildred. She was very shrewd uh, in business, you know, and so I really appreciate that. That what I got from her. Um, and taught me how to. Well, all of us how to thrive and survive in an economy that is tight. And you know, yeah. So um, how to make choices and realize that some compromises, personal compromises over what I would like, would have to be made, and also just learning that the things that I would like to acquire for myself in my personal space, my living, my life where I live, a good build, it comes uh, not all at once. It comes a little at a time. If I like, right, I want a bed frame for a king size mattress, and I'm having to save money because the ones I want are pretty expensive. Because if I'm gonna, this is the bed that I'm gonna spend like a big bulk of my life. Uh, sleeping. You spend a good bit of your life sleeping, and I want it to be comfortable. So that I want an adjustable, one that will recline and incline and prop the feet up and all this kind of good stuff. I want that. Uh, and I thought about getting um, go on top of that, getting one that kind of massages and everything like that. But the fact of the matter is, I've got a recliner that here in the house that massages. So must my bed also massage? I don't know. It's like I'm gonna have to look at that and see because it's that ups the price a few more $100. Uh, yeah. Uh, but I don't know. It's also there again. It's like too good, uh, too much of my life. You spend about a third of your life, give or take, in bed, and you know, for that amount of time to be spent someplace, you may as well be as comfortable as you could possibly be. So that's how I'm justifying the expense. But that is one thing that I am going to be saving up for, and I'm going to be buying it from Walmart.com. That means when people are like, "Hey, yeah, we wanna spot you. We want to do something for you. What do you want? Walmart gift Walmart gift card." If I go to a, a neighborhood party and they have like door prizes or something like that, I always try to go for the Walmart gift card or whatever. You know what I mean? That's what I need to do, man. That's currency. If I go to a Christmas party, uh, and it's like a dirty Santa party, I will like give up like a really really cool gift just so I can get you know. The Walmart gift cards because that's going to help me in my goal. I probably really won't be able to buy this king size frame for a while. They're a little bit more expensive than I thought, and there are other things that I want to work on. Like I want to have the table that I want to have in the front room, and I want to have that done before the holidays. And I got so excited when my good friend took me around and kind of showed me what he was talking about, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can see that. I could really see it happening. So yeah. Uh, you know, what else? What else? Oh, you know what? I posted a video of me doing like just some exercises with the heavy bag. That was basically just so I could talk my way through what I had learned because I hadn't really done a heavy bag workout in a while. And it's like, okay, let me just kind of talk my way through the motions that I need to do. So I really wasn't trying to be like super exemplary or anything like that. Also, it's like feel like when I jump down into like a horse stance or something like that, it's like it's not very flattering to the belly. So I forgot all about holding a stance. But this is something I did because I'm going to go really for the next week pretty heavy on keto. Keto. So keto diet. uh, and basically, it's just chicken breast that I did, and very spicy. Aioli type sauce on all over the chicken, and then broiled it. And it really was just, it started out just being a little bit of oil in the bottom of the pan, but then as the chicken cooks, it renders its own broth, and so that kind of blends with the aioli that I have it rubbed in, and some. So it's basically like a pepper aioli, and it's great. And I par cooked this, took it out, let it rest, and then I can do anything with this. I can just take the breast and eat it as it is, very tender, very juicy. If I want to put it over a light bed of pasta, I could. If I want to make a sandwich, it makes a great sandwich, especially with the aioli sauce. You know, it's very versatile. But this is what I'm going to be doing for the next few days. Pretty much sticking with lean chicken. Uh, Tuesday, I have someone coming over for dinner that I'll make. I'll do something different. But by that time, I'll be ready. After that, I'll be ready for like a break from the chicken, so I'll be ready for some beef or something like that. But yeah, um, just random stuff. But really, super excited, keyed up for this GeekedCon. So count on. I'll do some videos between here and Friday, but also count on me talking about GeekCon Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You guys have seen my videos from last year. You know it's a blast. You know it's going to be a good time. Uh, Celebrity panelists this time include Tony Todd from Candyman, Dee Wallace. Genre favorite. She's been in everything from um, oh my God, The Hills Have Eyes, The Howling, E.T. Critters. One of my favorites was The Frighteners. Not so much because the movie was good, but because of Dee Wallace's performance. Like, oh my God. at the climax, what she does. But anyway, so many other things, and then of course the boys who played her sons in ET, that was kind of cool. Uh, so there'll be a lot of questions about ET. I'm going to try and throw some curveballs. Actually, my favorite character in the older movie, it wasn't Drew, it wasn't uh, the boy who played Elliot. It was the older brother, and the reason why is all the way through that movie he kept like imitating Yoda. Like, oh yeah, I have absolute power. I can't do the voice. It was like, but yeah, the homages to Star Wars, because I was kind of like at that point like um, like every other boy, like Star Wars. Well, and we were poor people, you know. And when Star Wars first came out, the movie, uh, even though I was aware of the movie, what I knew about the movie were these two robots. That's all I knew, and the only thing I really knew about it was they had a special that they did on the Donnie and Marie show. They did like because that's we watched Donnie and Marie in the late 70s, right? That's what you did. So that's the only thing I really knew about it. And then later on, there was some sort of a Christmas special or something like that, but which is classic. It's like it's a TV thing with the Wookiee going home to his family or whatever. It was fun, but and so today people are like, "That's the worst thing," and it is a TV special. It was basically just a whatever, lighten the hell up. They actually homaged that with Guardians of the Galaxy. They did a special. Uh, in between Guardians 2 and 3, they did a special, a Christmas special. Uh, it was kind of cool. It kind of was a callback to that Star Wars Christmas special. But that's all that I knew about Star Wars because I would have been too young to go to a movie theater and sit through like 2 hours and 15 minutes or so or whatever worth of that first Star Wars movie, even at a drive-in or whatever. It would have. Um, and I know this is going to piss fans off, but like at 5 or 6 years old, I would have lost interest, in that movie. I would have been more interested in a fast paced movie. But yeah, it. So I saw it retroactively, but that's what I liked about the ET movie, ET the extraterrestrial, because I had not seen. We were also poor, so we weren't like running out to movies all the time. Every once in a while we would. But yeah, we didn't have money, so we would go see what um, every once in a while, matinee or something like that. Often it would be like we'd be like at the mall or something or whatever. We didn't have like a lot of money between us, my sister and I, and sometimes she would send me into a movie because she knew, like she let me go watch Peter Pan, the Disney Peter Pan, the cartoon movie. Uh, and basically, what it did for her is it probably gave her a break from me because my mother worked and she took care of me after school. My sister, whatever. Ungrateful person that I was like, hey, you're not my mommy, you're my sister, that kind of stuff. But uh, gave her a chance to do uh, her thing, and I didn't. I thought I was so mature, third, fourth grade or whatever. And looking back, it's like I really was just a boy in need of taking care of, like, so that's kind of cool. My sister did a great job on that. So anyway, but yeah, around this time, E.T., it was out of the theaters and we didn't get to see it. So I didn't, and if you didn't see E.T. in the initial theater run, you didn't see it until years later when it got a VHS release. And so I watched it retroactively. Um, VHS, but I had to watch it with the mentality and wonderment. I had to like put myself into that mentality of a boy, you know, versus being, like a teenager, almost a man. This is not my movie. You know what I mean? I had to like, like, like watch it when I was in the mood to embrace my inner child, basically. And it was a good movie. But let me put it like this: by the time I had seen this movie, Drew Barrymore was headlong into a fall, and like by this time, she was being ripped apart. Uh, she was like the little girl star in this movie, the big breakout, and she's being ripped to shreds, uh, uh, and awaiting a comeback, which you know, yeah, there you go, uh, which didn't happen until the 1990s, like so like I had my comeback, and she did like some TV movies and stuff like that. Uh, maybe she was starting. I think she did a movie, Doppelganger. I think that was maybe. And she did another movie with Matt Frewer, who is we know as Max Headroom. Some people would know him as Trash Can Man from the original Stan miniseries on TV. Bum diddy bum diddy bum diddy, my life for you. Trash Can Man. So, but he was Drew's movie in this movie called Far From Home or something like that, and it was kind of like one of those. It was a precursor to the Poison Ivy thing, where Drew was the object of obsession between a stalker, and then later on she played the stalker as Poison Ivy, and then of course in Doppelganger, which was like whatever, kind of a monster movie or something in a way. Um, yeah, she was working her way to uh, reclaiming her stardom through there. But that's when I started to. That's when I was able to see VHS of ET the Extraterrestrial, which was kind of cool. My mother bought it for Christmas one day. Oh, I'm going to talk about something. I went yesterday. Oh, I'm going to come sit down. I'm going to come back outside and sit down. This requires talking. In talking about this period of my life, my teenage years, by the way, I was so reflective yesterday because I went with some friends to Caddo Lake. There's a swimming area on Caddo Lake. It's actually a really large lake here that was formed a long time ago by a natural occurrence. I think it was an earthquake that happened. So that's when the lake formed. And then, all these years later, throughout my teenage, from the time I was like, oh, from 12, from being 12 years old all the way through to being 17, just about as much of my weekend time was spent at this lake. Uh, because, firstly, my father, who had come back into the home at this point for a few years, from the time I was 12, he came back in, and he and my mom reconciled after a split, and they didn't get divorced until I was 14, almost 15 years old. So, but what happened was, my father had a summer, like a gig, as a side gig during the summer as a cook for the Kiwanis camp. It was a camp for like inner city kids and whatever. And so yeah, uh, I went. Like, it was really kind of interesting because my friends of the family, Uncle John and Aunt Nancy, yeah, they were friends of the family, so to speak. And what it is that they were caretakers of this camp. They lived in a little white house. They took care of it and everything like that. So when the camp was in session, my dad was chef, and then for the cook. And then when the camp was not in session, year round for a couple of years, we would just go out there, and we'd be allowed to stay in one of the cabins and whatever. Just anytime there was some sort of event or something, we were just invited to come out. Like you know, some company has a party out there or whatever, and we're allowed to be kind of like a hanger on, be like little extras at the party or whatever. So that's kind of cool. Get to partake in some of the things. Uh, and then this one time, the bikers were out there. Group of bikers that were kind of cool. I love it. I don't know which club it was, but I know they were out there. They were having a grand old time, and the guy just like strips off all of his clothes and dives into the water, and everybody's like, it's like skinny dipping or whatever, and it's like, and they had to like scold the guy and tell him, hey, the guy's got his son here, and it's like, I'm like, At this point, I'm 15. I've seen penises before, mostly my own, but it's kind of, at this point, I'm like a little gay boy inside of my head anyway. I'm like, leave him alone, let him dip, But so this, we did all that for the, and then around 14 years old, uh, we had some friends of the family, and this was like my early insomnia was happening. Like I was just like, I don't like to sleep at night. If I don't have to, let me just stay awake and listen to music, or let me do whatever. I mean, I got plenty of rest and everything, but I remember this point, my mom having this talk with me. Hey, parents, they need, can you maybe try to go to bed? Every once in a while, we want to be kind of intimate, and we don't want to do that if we think we're going to be overheard or something like that. Whatever. It was kind of cool, but eventually, the solution was when I was around 14. Met a friend of the family, a great big giant adult kid, really. And he just loved horror movies, slasher movies. And I've already told you about my affinity for slasher movies, horror movies, or whatever. And this was early in the VHS, video rental craze. You go out and rent VHSs for like new releases for like $3 to $5, and ones that have been there, some of them for $1, whatever. Like, and then they would do specials, rent two, get one free, that kind of stuff, whatever. So, yeah, I'd go like crash for the weekend and met like a group of people, you know, uh, that would get me out of my parents' hair for the weekend or whatever. Give me a sense of getting out from underneath my regular pressures because I kept a busy schedule. I'd go to school, which I hated school, and school hated me. I didn't really, yeah, I was just out of step with it. But then after school hours, I'd come home, uh, and not long after that, I would go for my training, which was, for my school that was associated with the World Taekwondo Federation. So I did uh, competitive taekwondo training. Hence the video that I made earlier about some of those goofy kicks and stuff like that. I'm trying to recall some of the names. I remember the motions and everything a lot more than I remember the names. Like a roundhouse kick. Basically, it's kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, like it just, yeah, it's just sweeping kick. Uh, but I can't quite remember if you take it with the side of your foot or the top of your foot. But it's another name, I think, for a back kick or whatever. I remember the very first time I broke a piece of. It's not really a very strong wood. Ponderosa pine is what they had us breaking, and it was like, yeah, I broke a piece of board with a. Um, I was like, what do I do? How do I break it? Whatever. And then my one of my instructors like, just break it with the front snap kick. So I went and I kicked it the first time and it didn't break. As I reeled back and I kicked it again, with much more confidence. Really, I don't think it was much more strong or whatever. I can't conjugate words. I know. Okay, so I went and I kicked this thing, and the plank of Ponderosa board did break, and I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. And I remember it was a demonstration that we were doing at the old the Summer Grove Baptist Church, and then of course that church later on it moved uh, way out towards Pines Road, and then that they moved from Pines Road and they moved into the old South Park Mall, and the Pines Road location actually became the first call center that we had here in Shreveport that I worked with. But anyway, never mind all that. You can see how it is when you have like some nostalgia. So I had nostalgia on this lake because we went to this lake yesterday, uh, and I spent the whole time swimming, but also just reflecting, because I'm telling you, from uh, year 14 all the way on to year 17, until my good friends moved out of state. Because he went back to take a job and be near his family in Virginia, and his wife and his son, who was like a little brother to me, and the new baby, that they had, and they all moved. With that, our little clique of people that we had gotten a regular routine. We'd get together with people, like there was let's see, Pat and Sharon were the parents. Gordon was the brother, and the new baby. She hadn't quite come yet, but she was on her way. And I didn't really get a chance to know her because after she was born, shortly after is when they moved. So I really didn't bond with her in the same way that I would have had we been able to stay. But they were kind of like an extension of my family. I would never replace my family with anybody, but if you ever had that extension of chosen family, you know, this was that, for me. And so then there was Vicky and her sister, and I couldn't. And I had a sister named Vicky. That's why I remember the name. But hmm. Anyway, but and then my good friend John at the time, John Shirley. I haven't seen him in forever, but he was kind of Vicky's counterpart. They weren't a couple, but he, and the sister uh, was kind of my counterpart. Like whenever we were, our little foursome or whatever, going to the trucks and getting in the trucks and driving out to the lake and spending everything. But there was another couple that hung out with us, and then Pat's downstairs neighbors. They also hung out with us and stuff too, and everything like that. This was just, what it was just a sense of me being able to kind of relax someplace outside of my room where I didn't have to worry about being impressive to anybody. And that gave me the freedom to explore and find identity. And it was through that experience that I gained an idea of some things, some philosophies that I want to write about when I decided, oh, at this age, 12, 13 years old or whatever, that what I am, above all else, what I am is a writer. And I am. I really don't share a lot of my writings. I'm doing a book now of very abstract writings. Um, just basically just because I have it and it's time to do that, I'm composing it. And when it's together, oh, believe me, you guys will know about it. I will be like promoting, please buy my book. But because that would encourage me. I'm not trying to make money, but if I write the book and then sell, just a couple of copies, then it'll be like, oh, gee, that will encourage me to finish writing some of the other things. But still, it's what I am above all the other creative things that I like to do. Uh, I'm a writer, and I always have been. So, like create stories, plots, everything really twisted. And the reason why I think some of that was from some of those nighttime soaps, and even some of the daytime soaps. The great big epic swirling stories. In the '80s TV, uh, if it was sitcom, great. But if it wasn't a sitcom, it was a nighttime soap opera. And it didn't really matter what genre, there was that soap opera element to it. Like my favorite TV show was V in the mid '80s, and the first couple of TV specials spun off a series, a TV series that ran for probably about 21, 22 episodes, and it was very soap opera. Uh, Started out, but it combined action with soap opera and a sci-fi. It was a little bit of something for everybody, but it was a very expensive show. There was a reboot, of course, in 2009, and two short seasons. And the problem with this is that they were very expensive to make, and so they didn't. You know, they kind of got what they got. Uh, we got our remake, but it wasn't what it was supposed to be. It was very expensive and strayed far from the original. Uh, it lost its fandom, really, to be honest with you. Um, but, of course, I bought a book, Kenneth Johnson's sequel to the original V, where he made, there's some retconning that goes on. There's some retconning that goes on because clearly in the original of this series, the alien leader is referred to as a he, and then by the time this sequel comes out, all these years later, that Kenneth Johnson wrote, because it was a treatment that he did for the remake that did not get picked up, but he wrote it in the book, and it was great. Uh, the alien leader is a female, so uh, which really puts a twist on things. It's kind of like a bid for inclusion. I get it. I'll tell you something else too. There is a bit of Kenneth Johnson writing about the other alien race that are not reptilian but are actually uh, come from a world where insects kind of are the dominating thing. Well, the aliens in this V remake, and they inhabit both parts. There's the reptilian and the insecty kind of quality. Whereas you have the sex with the mate, and then you eat your mate, like bite off the head, like a praying mantis kind of thing. You know, and they kind of got away from the whole like shock of the whatever. The original run of that was better, but these are the things that made me want to write, and I explored that. I had time and peace of mind, and I did a lot of. I would write short stories, pass them around at school, and I wrote them when I was, on my weekends away at this uh, Caddo Lake beach that I'm talking about, and so God, am I super excited that I went there yesterday. I could not tell you the sense of nostalgia that I have. And, you know, uh, God, it was such a wonderful, fun time. Pat's brother, we called him Tex. So weird, lived with us. And so I'd stay over there for the weekends and stuff like that. It would literally be like everybody would just grab their place to sleep, like roll out the bed, and there might, the roll out bed from the couch. And, there might be two or three people sleeping in that, family bed style or whatever. It was very casual. There was nothing, uh, there was no sort of, nobody was creeping on anybody. There was no weird sexting, anything like that. It would just be like, oh my God, we went out, had fun. And now we're just going to have like a relaxing, like, sleep and get some sleep and get up and do it all again. And we did this like, oh my God, just about every damn weekend that I wasn't competing. And God, when that when that particular chapter of my life ended, I think that was kind of the beginning of my spin out, because I was kind of coming into a sense of identity, which was in contrast to fundamental Baptist upbringing. And my mother was devoutly fundamental Baptist, even though she worked uh, the job that she had to work that kept her from going to that church every Sunday, and everything like that. But boy, she wasn't too keen on. She wasn't too keen on my open mindedness towards uh, other ideologies, other ideologies. Um, and then really they weren't too keen uh, when I started exploring the idea, floating it by that I was gay. Uh, her in particular, she had the whole freak out meltdown. But I mean, uh, people just know what they were taught to, and later on, she had a evolution in her thinking and acceptance about that. Still never quite got over it. But whatever. Uh, she made her peace with it or whatever. When it came time to like uh, get a little help from the person I was living with or whatever. Not that that was a romantic relationship. He wanted it to be and everything like that. I just went there for a job. But when it came time for the handouts, then remarkably the acceptance level increased. Like, oh, not so bad if he can help get us out of our little jams that we get into or whatever. So whatever. Um, Going out and just this was like we were going to go to another lake. We were going to go to Cypress Lake, and at Cypress it was going to be fun. But when I felt like, oh, let's go to this lake over here, and I was like, fuck yeah, let's do that every time. Oh my god, it was so much more enjoyable to me. Basically, it's a smaller swimming area, not nearly as busy, but oh my god, if I can go out there every weekend, I would. I mentioned just now that I worked with the man and helped took care of his mother, and he did like he brought me into the home as an employee, and then played that game where he chased me around for like 4.5 years or whatever, trying to like come on to me, and it was me fighting him off constantly. Like, get that? No, you're like he's the age that I am now, except he was in horrific, horrible shape. And I was not the kind of person that could be bought or swayed by money. I'm still not, like, you know, you give me money, I won't look a gift horse in the mouth, but you can't, like, I'm not ever the kind of person, I get with who I want to get with, when I want to get with, and I don't get with anybody that I don't want to get with. And that's my, that's me. I make those decisions, you know. So anyway, I could never, no one could ever just like throw money at me and do that. Even when I was in my like, you know, prime of my physical peak or whatever, I still couldn't have been. Uh, that's a non-compromising thing, and I've always felt that, Uh, I'm also not one of these polyamorous, let's share people kind of. Yeah, I'm not. No, 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 no. Let me tell you, if it comes right down to it, I'm worth the strings, and that's one of the reasons why I'm single now, because so many like gay people really don't do that, like, uh, and I'm like, well, whatever. Uh, that's cool. If I can't have it all, I don't really need any of it, really. So, like in a relationship, it is all or nothing. Uh, and if it has to be nothing, that's cool because I'm a lot, and I'm quite enough for me. These are all these things that I thought about and felt and reflected on at this lake, and God, I love it. Um, yeah. So maybe today I spent basking in the glow of recollection. Uh, and it really was like a reflective, afterglow. It really was of all the things that were in spite of some weird things. These were like really the best times of my life. I hated school. I hated being in school. Uh, Hated it. Hated it. Did not belong. Could not keep up. Not because I was stupid, but because we kept moving houses. And so, like, I don't know if the curriculum is not the same from school to school to school. So it's like, where are we at? Like, if you're constantly keeping up. And so this was a thing. We moved a lot, and it was like, not only that, socially, I wasn't like able to really bond with people at school or wherever because we moved so frequently. And not only moving frequently, but just going from middle school to high school or whatever. Uh, if I was not moving, then I was going to a different school. In between all that, and it was like, ugh, at this point, I'm like, whatever. And so there was a point of stability that I found with this family that I went on the weekends with, and Pat and Sharon and Gordon, and I think was the daughter Lucy. I can't remember the name. I don't know. I don't remember the daughter's name because she, like I said, she was born, she was a baby, and then they were gone. Uh, in that stability, uh, I found and rejoiced in spite of everything that I felt was going on. I felt that I was having some of the best, I felt I was having some of the best times of my life, and I knew it. And I'll tell you something, and I knew it. I had this awareness. This is everything that I want to feel here. You know, it was great. And it was the open air and friends and the, riding in a, it was really great, Uh, and then, of course, you become older, you become a young adult and find out that you have responsibilities. And also for me, uh, make a few wrong steps, that sometimes a wrong step, you have to like take a moment to, you can't just like correct it right then, like sometimes bad mistakes take a long time to recover from. And I made some of those types of mistakes. And so, no one's fault but mine. And so this is kind of cool. It's like, like uh, to be able to reflect. It was almost like a little for me, spending the day like a little bitty, like little mini, uh, fourth step from a 12-step fellowship. Where you go back and you look and do that reflective inventory of what's good, So yeah, I'm so happy that I did that. One day out there just brought it all back. How wonderful and how great everything was, and also how wonderful and great everything is today. Uh, it was a sense of myself without the burden of concern. God, what a wonderful state of mind to be in. What a wonderful place. Everybody should find uh, their happy place. If there is a happy place, damn, I know where mine is. I had a dream when I was about 15. I was 15. I had a 15. And it was, and so, we had this whole like Cold War going on. And I'm also, coming off of being exposed to like fundamental Baptist teachings. And that's a lot of revelation, apocalyptic, end of the world type stuff, right? So, ah, in this dream, we go to the lake that I'm talking about that has this beach and gathering and everything like that. And that's where we all run to get away from kind of a Red Dawn type situation, right? Where we all escape and we all go out there. And uh, that's where this dream takes me. And I wrote like maybe 13, 14 short story uh, based on this dream that I had. But it was like that. We went out there and that was like, we went out there and then we schemed and we planned. And then we went and we tried to fight back. And it was the end of the world, not just with the Russians and everybody fighting against everybody, but also it was end of the world of, angels fighting demons, that type of stuff. And this whole like subtext getting these back mask messages from playing our music backwards. We were getting instructions. Yeah, I'm telling you, like this is the shit that went on in my head at 15 years old, right? I mean, you think that's far fetched, but the subtext of it, what I was really in this dream, and I say subtext, so, but in this dream, I had this sense, this worry. Okay, what side am I on? Am I on the right side? Am I on the wrong side? There's a twist coming to this dream that I'm having. That, oh my God, I'm not in, not, I fucked up. I have been fooled. Uh, that kind of stuff. All those worries and concerns that they put on me uh, growing up about. How I had to be, and if I couldn't be that, then I was going to be doomed into a lake of fire or something like that. I found that relief. I find relief from all that at this lake, this Caddo Lake, that I spent so much of my youth. God, such an important place for me. Okay, there you go. I love you guys. Thank you for listening to my therapy. Peace. God bless. Love and light.